So hello everybody, Reece's Reviews here, and welcome back to the next video entry in my 7 eras of Disney series. So far I have ranked the Silver Age, I have ranked the Post-Renaissance, and I have ranked the Revival era. And maybe there's a clear favourite at the moment, it's definitely the Revival. But I decided, now that I'm watching more and more films, I haven't watched as many Disney films as I did. But I thought, you know what, I'm enjoying doing this series because I'm enjoying watching the classics. And if I'm enjoying watching the classics, what better to watch than the first 5 made? As you can see by the title of this video, we are ranking the Disney Golden Age. So these are the first 5 films made by Walt Disney Animation Studios. And I liked all of these. For the first time, in any of these eras, there isn't one that I didn't like. Because, I didn't like Frozen in the Revival. I didn't like a lot in the Post-Renaissance, and then I wasn't a fan of Sword and Stone in the Silver Age. But the Golden Age, I know there's only 5 films, so it's not really fair, but I liked all of these a bit. At least a little bit. So, yeah. So let's get into the ranking straight away. So, my least favourite of the Golden Age, the number 5 spot, goes to Bambi. Now, Bambi is something I still like. I still really enjoy Bambi. Because it is subtle, but it does it well. I do have problems with the pacing. Because not a lot happens. Obviously, the death of Bambi's mother is just very sad. And I think it's used well. I wouldn't say actually it's used amazingly, because I don't like how Bambi's mother just becomes, nothing at all after she's died. It's what I really liked about Up, the Pixar's Up, is even after Carl lost Ellie, he still just spoke to her normally like he would if she was alive. That's what I loved about this. But with Bambi, it was kind of just as soon as his mother died, he just let her go. And nothing ever came of it. And I didn't really like that. But, I still think it was still an enjoyable movie. It was subtle, it was sweet, and it was really well animated, I think, for the time. So in at number 4 is Fantasia. Now, Fantasia is a film which I actually didn't love, but I think is a really wonderful show. Because, obviously, it's not going to appeal to a lot of people. Because, Fantasia, obviously, it's not like a full film. It's like loads of shorts just with music to tell the stories. Which I think is a really, really, really good format. Because I am, an avid believer in the most important thing in a film is its score. I think it just is. That's my opinion. But, obviously, I don't know if it was just my teenage brain just didn't have the attention span, but I couldn't get into this film like I would have wanted to, but I still think this was a really, really wonderful feat of art. I think the music throughout was played amazingly by the orchestra. I think that the animated shorts, I think they were really good. I love The Sorcerer's Apprentice, obviously, it's a classic short. And my favourite thing about Fantasia, and it's what I think was lost in Fantasia 2000, was it with Fantasia, it made you, it really did immerse you and made you feel like you were part of this, like this symphony. And I think that was really good because they had they still had, because in Fantasia 2000, between each short, people are trying to be funny and it just doesn't work. But with this, sure, the person didn't need to be this next short is Mickey Mouse. It didn't need to be like that. But he didn't, completely oversell it, so I think it worked. And Fantasia really just is an enjoyable movie. Definitely the longest of this era, though. So in at number 3 is Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Apart from, Snow White, as a character, she was alright. I think her voice was annoying, though, I'm not gonna lie. But the main thing that annoyed me kind of with Snow White was, she'd kind of intruded on these dwarfs. And then she was like, you've got to clean up before I feed you. And I'm like, whoa, you're in their house. So that was a bit weird. But I think that I loved the Dwarfs. Kind of for the same reason, like, I love things like Inside Out and things like that. It's because in Inside Out, the emotions never break character. They're always what they are. And this was the same with the Dwarfs. They were always what they are, and I just loved how well they were written. I really liked the evil queen. I thought she was a good villain. I enjoyed this, and I loved all the animals, I loved how they were, like, genuine characters. I think they were good. And, I just thought Snow White was a fun movie. I probably would put it below Fantasia, but just me personally, I couldn't really connect to Fantasia as much as I did Snow White. Plus, I thought Snow White was actually really funny. I laughed quite a lot at the Dwarfs. It's raining outside, I'm sorry if you can hear it. So in at number 2 is probably the boldest film on this list, and that is Pinocchio. Pinocchio is a very weird, I mean that in, like, a good way, movie. Because, first of all, I think it's scary. I think it really is quite scary. Like, I'm one of those people, I hate dolls. I think they're just creepy, and I just don't like them. I don't like when because they just stare, and I just hate it. So obviously that coming to life, no, I couldn't imagine that in real life. But it was also just really weird, like, in terms of its kind of what it was showing. Like Pinocchio, when he became, like, when he was alive, he went to this pleasure island or pleasure land. And it was full of little, like, young boys just smoking and drinking and turning into donkeys. And it was weird. I didn't know I liked it, but it was confusing. But, I love Jiminy Cricket. I like, is it Geppetto? I think it's Geppetto. I really like him, the cat and the fish. They were all really, really nice. And the one thing I love the most about Geppetto, and more about this film, probably most about this film, is that, Geppetto has kind of only just received Pinocchio as like an alive person, but he doesn't care. He still loves him like he's loved him for years. And that was really special, I thought. And then obviously it goes a little bit off the rails because, it ends in a whale. That I'm not making that up, believe me. And so, yeah, but it was just so, it was charming, it was. And my favourite thing about Pinocchio was, it was trying to, like, put across this message that, you can't give in to temptation. But one thing that they did which was very bold, in my opinion, was when Pinocchio first gave in to the temptation, he got good things out of it, he was loved by crowds and things like this. So, like, that was really smart to show, I think, because it was like, yeah, like, ambition, if you give in to temptation, it can be good for you, but it won't always be good for you. And I think that was really, really smart to show. So, yeah, but I think just overall, I think for very small children, I think it can be quite scary, though. Especially that part where the villain is, like, throwing all those donkeys, and I don't know, it is scary. But it's still a fun movie. An enjoyable one. So finally, my number 1 is Dumbo, and it's the latest one I finished it about 20 minutes ago, and I just really, really enjoyed this film. I thought it was sweet, I thought it was charming, and the fact that I can care so much about Dumbo without him speaking is a real feat of like, character development, I think. It was just amazing. I loved the mouse. I think his name was Timothy Mouse. I love him. He was so good. And I loved the mother in it, because she was like, she didn't care what the other elephants were saying. She knew that she loved her child, and that was just sweet to me. And I love the message, because it reminds me of the message, obviously, that I got when I was watching Finding Dory. Because in Finding Nemo, when we meet Dory, we know she's got short-term memory loss. But in Finding Dory, we learn that we kind of learn to take it more, that she should take it more as a gift rather than a burden. And I got the same vibes from that as I did watching Dumbo, because, instead, like, because at the first, they were all laughing at his big ears and all taking the mickey out of him. But then it turns out that him having big ears allows him to fly, allows him to make the news, and I just really, really like that. And I love that kind of whole idea of, if you've got, like, a disability or something like that, don't see it as a burden, see it as, you know, like a superpower. And I really think that that's a special message to show to children. Plus, you know, the music was good, I thought, and I just really liked it. I mean, there was, and I think it was still really funny as well. Like, there was that mental scene in the middle where they get drunk and they see all those pink elephants, and, well, that was just something to watch. But, you know, overall, I just think it was a really, really enjoyable movie, and definitely my favourite of this golden age. But for the golden age as a whole, I really enjoyed it because it felt like I was watching one of, like, the old Tom and Jerry cartoons where, like, the music in the background, like, goes with the character's actions, like if they step, it'll make, like, a piano sound, and then a piano sound, like that, things like that, just those little touches, you know, it really feels like a classic film and a classic feeling, and it was really, really good. So, that is my ranking of Disney's golden age. Just to go back over it, number 5 is Bambi, number 4 is Fantasia, number 3 is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Number 2 is Pinocchio. And number 1 is Dumbo. So, please tell me in the comments how you would rank Disney's golden age. And, yeah, please just leave your thoughts overall. Also, please leave suggestions for movies you'd like me to check out. At the moment, I'm trying to watch more superhero films and more 2017 releases, so yeah, I've got a few things that I'm watching at the moment, but please just leave anything that you think that you want me to check out. But so leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, because it lets me know that you like it, and it lets me know that I'm doing something worth watching. And subscribe to stay updated with my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Goodbye.